Freeplay Awards Night broadcasts from the stolen lands of the Wurundjeri and Bunurong people of the Kulin Nations, the world's first creative technologists, who have been sharing culture through stories and play for thousands of years and continue to do so today. We pay our respects to their elders past and present, and to anyone watching who has a connection to the world's oldest continuing culture. Sovereignty was never ceded.
They bought it. Incredible. One of the worst performances of my career, and they didn't doubt it for a second. How can I be expected to host the Freeplay Awards on a night like this?
I might give you a clap for Jonathan.
And the building sense of unease that grows as you play.
Getting in the Freeplay Awards is easy. Step 1, make a great game. Most of you are probably 90% of the way there already. And boy, ain't it the last 10% that really hurts! Step 2, submit it to the Freeplay Festival, not now, months ago, to one of 10 categories.
Narrative.
In the excellence in design category.
Into the audio category. I'm going to start getting emotional a bit.
I don't mean to sound dismissive. Making a game is hard work. But if you don't stop and look around once in a while, you could miss it. Jesus! I'm dressed like this because the next step is super serious and I want you to take it seriously. Next, the Freeplay judges get together and do something none of us are brave enough to do. They play every game on their list. And then they decide which ones are best.
Hi everyone, my name is Brendan Keogh.
Hello, I'm back again. Jason Imms here.
Hi, I'm Ben McKenzie.
Personally, I couldn't do it, knowing so well how damn talented most of you are. Luckily, finding winners is just the judge's problem. All you and I have to do for the next hour and a bit is sit back, enjoy some of the amazing independent games that came out in the last year, and try to forget this bathroom segment.
Hello everyone and welcome to the 2021 Freeplay Awards Ceremony, hosted by yours truly, Jonathan, live from his back garden. You probably know the rules already, but just as a refresher, some lovely people have submitted hundreds of great games. A couple weeks ago, a ruthless judging panel have determined some of the best, some of the winners, some of the honorable mentions, and those judges are going to bring you the best of the best in each category over the next hour and a bit. Before the judges get to speaking though, someone who's not a judge, who we'd love to hear from, Jason Imms, the Freeplay Awards chair, is going to have a few remarks to start us off. And then when he's done, the show is on the road properly. You're going to see some amazing games, you're going to see some friendly faces, and some truly nuclear bits from everyone sending in video from their homes. Take us away, Jason. Let's make this year a good one.
Hello, friends. As I'm sure Jono just said during his lead into this video, my name is Jason Imms and I'm your chair of the Freeplay Awards for 2021. Seeing as we're online again this year and I'm coming to you from Nipaluna or Hobart, on lands traditionally stewarded by the Muanina people and not on Wurundjeri land where I'd normally be giving this speech, I'd like to begin by acknowledging the traditional custodians of country throughout Australia and their connections to land, sea and community. We pay our respect to their elders past, present and emerging, and extend that respect to all Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander peoples today. Sovereignty was never ceded. Now, I made the stupid mistake of watching my speech from last year right before sitting down to write this one. So now I'm very aware of all the things that I wanted to say this time around and just how similar they are to last year. Because once again, we're not meeting in person, which is in some ways harder this year because we were so close. But I'm not going to dwell on it. I dwelled on it a lot last year, and I think we've all spent quite enough time dwelling on it over the last 18 decades, which, by the way, is what we're calling months now. I'd like to acknowledge the incredibly hard time that we've been through, especially our Victorian friends, but now I'd like to move on in thankfulness to the wonderful pieces of art that have kept us sane in our isolation from one another. The games that have given us moments of connection to people far away, through peeks into their lives, moments of shared laughter, expressions of grief and sadness, collective gasps at the state of things, and so many other experiences that have been brought to us by our community of amazing game makers. Our judging cohort laboured long and hard this year, as they do every year, to deliberate on each of our categories, to compare apples to oranges to grapes to watermelons, in order to deliver our list of finalists and winners. As I'm sure you're all keenly aware, we decided to delay the awards by 2 weeks due to some unforeseen circumstances, stresses around shifting the festival online, but mostly to ensure that we weren't rushing through our deliberations. We care deeply about ensuring that our awards process is fair, that it includes many voices, and that we honour every single submission to the Freeplay Awards equally. This year we needed more time than we had left to get that done. And we're very thankful for our incredibly understanding and gracious community for your patience and your kindness. With that, I'm going to hand back over to Jono now to move into celebrating your games. So from myself, from the judging cohort, and on behalf of the Freeplay board, please allow me to thank each and every single one of you for your labours this year, whether you submitted to the awards or not. Thank you for making games. Please keep making games. We need play in our lives. We need art in our lives. We need community in our lives. I hope you enjoy this expression of those things along with us tonight. And once again, here's hoping we can meet together in person in 2022. Thanks.
Thank you, Jason. It's good to see you again, buddy. I agree with what you said there about some of these games bring us a moment of peace in these difficult times. Although, then again, sometimes you see a game so amazing that it sort of drives me further into madness. I don't know if other game makers can agree. One such game that makes me leap out of my chair whenever I see it is last year's Freeplay Award winner, A Hand with Many Fingers. Now, as a special treat, Jason has prepared a little interview with the creator so that you can get a bit of background on last year's winner and what they're up to now and how things are going for them before we start with the categories and winners for this year's awards. Take it away once again, old mate in Tassie, Jason Imms.
Hello again, everybody. I'm back again. Jason Imms here, Freeplay Chair, and today I'm looking forward to sharing a bit of an interview with David Cribb, aka Calestia, who was our Freeplay Award winner last year in 2020 for the project A Hand with Many Fingers. So I know we've said it 1,000 times already, David, but congratulations on your win last year, and thank you so much for joining us.
No, thanks for having me. I mentioned this before the call, but yeah, still sad that I couldn't actually make it not in person, but online last year. So yeah, happy to be here.
Fantastic. Very happy to get to have you on this year's stream to make up for it. So let's have a bit of a chat about A Hand with Many Fingers. For those who may not remember, it was a really incredible game that really stood out for our judges. Can you give us, do you remember your elevator pitch? Can you give us your elevator pitch for A Hand with Many Fingers?
Yeah, so Hand with Many Fingers is sort of a true crime conspiracy investigation game where you're investigating the real story of a bank that operated in Sydney in the 1970s and had some ties to various international intelligence agencies. So you play as a researcher working in an archive, slowly delving through the archives, following different threads, untangling this conspiracy, and putting it all together on a big corkboard and with lots of lovely red twine.
Very cool. And what was the inspiration for this? Was this like a historical thing that you've been looking into and grabbed you, or was there something else going on there?
Oh, well, really, I've been interested in sort of in conspiracies and kind of conspiracy culture for quite a long time. A massive fan of the sort of 1970s conspiracy thriller movies like All the President's Men and Parallax View. And so I really started from like wanting to make something in that kind of world, that kind of vibe. And the actual subject matter itself came second. I kind of stumbled on that. I was just, as someone who likes to think of themselves as fairly well read on this kind of history, I was surprised that I had no idea that this had happened a couple of 100 kilometers away from me. And yeah, the more I read about it, the more fascinated I was. And it ended up being, great topic.
Awesome. And tell me about your game design and game development history, because I know this was a solo project for you. Have you been around the traps for a while, or is this kind of first foray? What's your history there?
I sort of started like properly making games around 2015. I was in like second or third year of university, and decided I'd try my hand at it, doing an entirely unrelated degree that I have put to no use at all. But thought I'd just try my hand at game design. That was also around the same time I started reading more like leftist literature, that kind of thing. And kind of stumbled into combining those two and making left-wing video games.
Cool. And with regard to A Hand of Many Fingers, the game really kind of stood out to us as being this really fun, complex web. The narrative kept expanding within a really kind of neatly contained space. Was that really challenging for you, or did it feel quite natural to be able to put this story together and keep the space contained and therefore not have to generate heaps of assets and all that kind of thing?
Well, I've always been a fan of the sort of one-room video games, or the really sort of dense environments where you really get to know the environment, sort of understand it, know it like the back of your hand. But it was definitely a challenge figuring out how to structure the narrative in a way that all of this information could theoretically exist just in an archive somewhere. I mean, for a solid 6 months or so, this wall behind me was covered with just random post-it notes and bits of twine connecting it and that sort of thing. Yeah. Just try to actually like corral this narrative that goes off in so many different directions into something that can have a start point and an end point in around an hour's worth of gameplay.
Did you come across any people who kind of finished it worryingly quickly because they were able to kind of put two and two together before you were ready for them to?
Yeah, there've been a few of those. Luckily, most of the time it was because people actually recognized some of the key names from other sort of dodgy incidents of 20th century history, which I was kind of surprised by. But yeah, aside from that, it took so much playtesting to try and actually play out the different routes and try and clear my mind every time to sort of think about how people would approach new connections they come across and make sure there weren't too many bottlenecks where you were just like wildly searching through all of the boxes.
It'd be kind of cool if your game actually got entered into evidence in an actual court case against someone in the future.
Hopefully not a defamation trial. That's all I hope for.
That's true. And tell us a little bit now about where you're heading. What's been going on for you since the release and what's coming up for you next?
Well, yeah, it's been really great since the release. Been talking with a couple of publishers who are interested in working on upcoming games. At the moment, I'm kind of coming back around again to this idea of like the single room thriller with these kinds of political elements. And yeah, it's very early stages at the moment, but working on something as kind of haven't nailed down the elevator pitch for this one clearly yet, but it's a sort of phone-based immersive sim political thriller where you're operating out of a single office with your phone at the hand as a political crisis is unfolding around you. Because again, I really love those kind of contained environments, and I think that kind of approach gives so much scope for building up suspense and throwing in curveballs that people don't see coming.
Yeah, for sure. And are you hoping to do that one solo again, or are you hoping to work with collaborators on the next one?
Yeah, this will probably be a solo one again, or at least in the current form. Probably another solo one, which is definitely another huge benefit of sticking to the single location.
Very cool. Well, it was really impressive work, and it's really wonderful that a solo creator got a really cool game out there, and you took home a big award. It's really, really awesome. So congratulations again, and thank you so much for joining us for our interview today.
Yeah, thank you again for the award. And yeah, great chatting.
Absolutely pleasure. Thanks, David. Bye.
Thanks, pals. I definitely know what you mean about trying to design a game and rapidly filling your house up with red string connecting disparate concepts and descending the wormhole and all that. But a group of people who designed a game and kept a cool head about it are this year's nominees for the Excellence in Design Award. And here to bring them to you is our good friend, Edmund Tran. Take it away, boss.
Oh, hey, how you going? Just finishing off a twine. People still make those, right? Anyway, my name is Edmund Tran, and I'm one of the judges of the Freeplay Awards this year. You'll see a bunch of us throughout the proceedings, but I'm here to kick it off with the award for Best Design. Now, this category celebrates games that have great ideas and great execution of those ideas in terms of mechanics, level design, balancing, as well as great game feel, most important of all. Now, let me tell you, this category was a doozy to judge. And I'm sure no one's going to say that about any other category, but this one was really a doozy. A lot of the judges lost a lot of time to playing these games, and in some cases spent way more time than they actually needed to judge them. And once you see the finalists, you'll understand why.
Choices wise, observe the ring and strategize. Mix and match within confines of items, types, and slots defined.
And the winner of the 2021 Freeplay Award for Best Design goes to... There's nothing on this. It's Webbed by S-Bug Games. Webbed delighted us in so many ways, but most importantly with its incredible game feel. The core game mechanics of spinning webs, using them to maneuver through the environment, as well as swinging incredibly far through the environment, was such a joy to play with, and heightened by some absolutely wonderful audiovisual feedback. The game has some great puzzles that allow for freeform solutions, as well as some entertaining mechanical surprises that made it such a highlight, such a standout for each and every one of us. So congratulations to Webbed, as well as the rest of the finalists, for making this such a bloody difficult category.
Thank you, Freeplay. It's such an honor to be receiving this award. We couldn't have done it alone.
Thank you so much to everyone who supported us along the way. Thank you to everyone at Squiggly for being such a great community that loves just weird little games.
And thank you to everyone else who's played the game along the way and given us such great feedback. I also want to thank specifically Landfall for giving us the support we needed to take this from a small prototype of a spider in a box with some physics objects to the full game it is now.
And thank you so much to Terry for coming in right at the end and helping us cross the line with the great energy that you've helped us keep. And thank you to my parents, Mum and Dad, for keeping me housed, and thank you for listening to my rants about rocks and bugs.
And thanks to my partner Lulu for sitting next to me every day and not being too annoyed when I tap her on the shoulder and ask her to look at a new feature that I've been working on.
And thank you so much to, lastly, all the bugs in both our backyards for being such great models and such great inspiration.
That was a good take. Yeah, that was the best. That was a good one.
Thanks, pals. That was a good take. I'm just messing with him. I'm the one who edits the videos. Now, speaking of video, I can see everyone in the chat there having a great time on the YouTube chat. And if you're just joining us on YouTube or on some other streaming website, you probably might need to be reminded that there is a more premium, more delicious way to watch the Freeplay Awards Ceremony and Freeplay live-streamed content in general, and that's the Freeplay Zone, a connected chat room experience that's customizable. You can hang out with your friends. There's different rooms to walk around. It makes a lot more sense when you log on to freeplay-zone.glitch.me, freeplayzone.glitch.me. I highly recommend you go there right now and experience all that it has to offer. And my only regret is that I'm on this side of the screen for this event, and I can't join you all in the flaming baby pit. Now, next categories are presented by Ben McKenzie, and here they come right now.
Hi, I'm Ben McKenzie, one of the judges from the 2021 Freeplay Awards, and I'm very honoured to be presenting some of those awards to you tonight. The first one is Excellence in Visual Art, and this is always a hotly contested category. This year's no exception to that. The art runs all kinds of styles this year in the finalists, from cel-shaded graphics to low-poly retro kind of stuff to hand-painted art to art created entirely using a game controller, and some which was very brightly coloured but still managed to put you on the edge of your seat. I really enjoyed all the art from these finalists this year, so let's have a look at the finalists for Excellence in Visual Art.
Your potential to break through the limits and your perseverance to push through adversity. If the suits represent a type of thinking, the value of a card indicates the complexity of an action. It denotes how many successes each card is worth. A 1 would be taking the direct approach, like walking from point A to point B, while a 10 could represent some sick parkour stunts.
Of items, types, and slots defined. Seeking treasure, strength compounds. Passive powers, some profound. When death approaches, readjust. Your final choice is who to trust.
Some really different art styles there, all of them beautiful, and I'm particularly pleased to see a non-digital finalist in this category this year. But of course there can be only one winner. And this year the Josie for excellence in visual art in 2021 goes to Completely Stretchy and Uncomfortably Sticky by Daniel Ferguson. This game was very visually striking. It has quirky character designs, architecture that's really weird looking. I really enjoyed the architecture in this game, and a delightful pastel palette that perfectly evokes the game's personality. So well done, Daniel. A fantastic achievement, and congratulations to all the other finalists as well.
Hey everyone, I'm really excited to be here. I just wanted to start by saying that I'm thrilled and honoured that Completely Stretchy and Uncomfortably Sticky has been chosen for the Excellence in Visual Art Award. This means a lot to me, as growing up I've always strived to create visually distinct art, and it's something that I've always tried to do, and being able to bring that over into games has been really exciting for me. I just wanted to say thank you to the Freeplay Awards jury for sitting down and playing everyone's games. It would have been a huge undertaking, and I'm really thankful for the time and effort that they've all put in for this. I'd also like to thank the whole of the Freeplay staff and board for putting on an amazing festival this year and so quickly pivoting it online during the lockdown. It's really impressive. And I'd also like to thank Cecile and Jay for creating the zone and making an amazing space to hang out with. It's a highlight of Freeplay, and it's been a highlight of 2021. With this being one of the first games that I've ever made in this art style, it's really humbling to be able to see that people like the look and feel of the game visually. And it has me really keen to further explore this same sort of style as I continue to make new games, but also as I improve on this one. I don't have anything to show at the moment, but I've been improving everything from the look of the game to how it plays, and I'm really keen to show more people. Finally, I'd like to ask you to check out all the other nominees' games and support their work, as there's so many fantastic entries this year that all deserve to be played. Thank you again, and I'll see you in the zone.
Now let's go straight into excellence in audio. Audio is often only noticed when it's done badly, but great audio can lift a game's experience to the next level, and sometimes in very subtle ways. This category is called audio because it encompasses both musical composition and sound design, and those were both things we considered when looking at the finalists and the winner. And the finalists this year have everything from realistic rally car engines to spiders plucking on webby strings and futuristic robot cats playing tunes on a digital dance floor, only at Freeplay. Hey, let's see who the finalists are.
Mayhem. Whoever produces the most delicious meal mate will win eternal glory. Dress up your meal mate in the latest fashions, cook gastronomical delights, explore the mysterious town and more in the greatest multimedia experience of the year.
All great games, all great audio designs, but there can of course be only one winner, and the winner of the 2021 Freeplay Award for Excellence in Audio is Mealmates by Magic Dweedoo. Now, playing Mealmates made us feel a lot of things, most of them kind of gross, and the judging team, though, agreed that the soundtrack and the effects design seamlessly combined to really enhance those feelings and complement the art and gameplay in a really impressive way. So congratulations, Magic Dweedu, and also to all the other audio finalists.
So that's so thank you, Ben, for that. Tried to smoothly outro to you when the scariest moth I've ever seen landed on the live stream equipment. It's my pleasure to introduce the next judge for the excellence in narrative category, someone who always gets fully into character and really throws themselves into the judging process, and that's Jay Stewart, who's coming at you right now.
Hi Freeplay, I'm Jay, one of the judges from the 2021 Freeplay Awards. It's great seeing you all in the YouTube chat or watching the awards from the zone. I'm recording this in advance, so hopefully we did get the awards actually playing in the zone. My apologies if we didn't. Narrative is a category close to my heart. Whether as a player, being excited, seeing stories told in a way I haven't seen before, or as a creator, reading and rereading Emily Short articles about interactive narrative structures. I love it all. We have a really exciting set of nominees for narrative this year. We have 2 stories, Looking to the Stars. One, a farewell to a relationship. The other, an intergalactic tale of grief. We also have a nostalgic story of a precocious young detective delving into her family history, and 2 tabletop RPGs, one using collaborative storytelling techniques to explore community and Indonesian mythology, the other a retro-future cyberpunk RPGs tracking the financial strain that the capitalist system puts us all under. To get a little bit retro-future on you all. Big mood. Hey Freeplay, I have some bad news. There's been a car accident. However, there's a silver lining, because I can tell you, the winner for the Freeplay Award for Excellence in Narrative for 2021 is A Long Goodbye by Dana McKay. While visually you'll recognise this as a homage to one of the greatest games ever made, Kentucky Route Zero, the story A Long Goodbye tells is very much its own. By the side of the road, you'll bid farewell to a figure from your past. It may be a bitter parting, or more of a bittersweet goodbye, but through the subtle narrative structure, it'll be a long goodbye you'll remember and treasure for a long time. Congratulations, Dana.
Thank you for this award. I'd like to thank Freeplay for hosting the event, as well as giving a platform to local indie developers like myself. It's been really lovely looking at what other games have been nominated. A special thank you to the friends, family, and members of the Dead Developers Writing Circle Facebook group that all helped beta read and test the game. My aim with A Long Goodbye was to tell a bittersweet story that felt like navigating a real conversation. While I don't think this storytelling format works for all games, I can definitely see it being a really useful tool to tell quiet and personal stories. I'm hoping that in the future we get to see more games like this as more different people develop games. So once again, thank you for the award, and I can't wait to see what stories are told in the future.
Thanks, Jay. Good to see you again, and as always. Now, the next category, non-digital games, I think is really neat. Non-digital games in the Freeplay Awards are, of course, welcome to win this category and any others they apply to, and I think it's really neat. We can get these games in big groups to play together, really wring all the juice out of them and get them judged, have a lot of laughs while doing it. Warms the heart, makes me feel good that these games, maybe sometimes won't get their fair share of the spotlight because they're non-digital, really get a chance to get played in the process of judging these awards. That said, they don't always play best on video, so my recommendation is, if you really want to absorb these games, is get on the itch page for most of them, pretty publicly available. We'll put the names up on screen as always. You get them, download them, play them with your friends. Non-digital games! It's what's happening, alright? Here's the nominees and the announcement of the winner of this excellent category.
Hi, I'm back again, one more time, to present the Freeplay Non-Digital Award for 2021. It was really great to see so many non-digital games submitted at Freeplay this year. The most, I think, although I can't be sure, since the category was added back in about 2015, I think was the first year. And what an exciting time. I'm a big fan of non-digital games, so I've always wanted to see more of them, and this year we got so many. And not just traditional board or card games, but also so many role-playing and storytelling games. And in a sign of the times, perhaps, a lot of them solo games that can be played alone without even talking to somebody else. Journaling games have been a big thing the last year or two, and we got a lot of those as well. We saw some really weird and innovative themes and ideas in this year's non-digital cohort, and so it wasn't an easy category to judge, but the finalists in the end run a real gamut of everything from traditional fantasy adventure to futuristic anti-capitalism, and also some smaller stories about you or your community. I know I'm going to be playing all of them a lot more in the year to come. So let's see who the finalists are for the 2021 Freeplay Non-Digital Award. A whole bunch of great games there. I recommend you check them all out. But the winner of the 2021 Freeplay Non-Digital Award is The Lighthouse at the End of the Universe by Ella Lim. Now, as I mentioned, we saw a lot of solo games this year, but Lighthouse really stuck out to us. We were struck with its contemplative evening ritual of reflection, and also the subtle but very clever use of minimal mechanics to help you imagine a solitary but potentially wonderful life. A game that perfectly suited the year that we've all had, I think, but also one that really captured the judges' imagination. So congratulations, Ella, and congratulations also to all of the finalists, and please keep sending in your non-digital games to Freeplay in the future. We love them.
Wow, thank you so much for the award. This is really incredible, thank you. I want to say thank you to the Freeplay committee for running this award, these events that showcase all the amazing talent in Australia. That's really awesome. I want to say thank you to anyone who's supported my game or played it in any way. When I first put it out into the world, I did not expect the amount of love and support that it has gotten so far, and that has just been so incredible and super encouraging as a small creator. I want to say thank you to my mum and Aaron for proofreading many copies of the game. I want to say thank you to Tyler who edited the game. I want to say thank you to all the people on Kickstarter who supported me in finishing this game. That was really incredible. I want to say congratulations to all the other finalists in these awards. You guys are really awesome. Keep creating and, you know, changing the games in Australia. That's so cool. Thank you so much.
Hello, it's me again, and I am back to present the Freeplay Award for Best Microgame. Now, I'm sure no one said this about any other categories so far, but microgame, this was a hard category to judge. Microgames are games that are designed to be completed in less than an hour, and in many cases, far less time than that. This year's selection of finalists were all incredible, and I really urge each and every one of you to spend some time with them if you haven't already. They're all very sharp, they're all very focused, they all leave you with really intense emotions afterwards, whether that be a deep sense of melancholy, a heart-pounding triumph, or just laugh out loud joy. So without further ado, here are this year's finalists for Best Microgame.
Ugh.
And the winner of the 2021 Freeplay Award for Best Microgame goes to It's Under a Star Called Sun by Cecile Richard. What can I say about this game that hasn't already been said? Under a Star Called Sun really moved us with its poetic meditation on grief, longing, and memory. It really impressed us with its beautiful art and music. We love that it didn't waste a single word or moment and how effective it was in making us feel the way we did throughout the whole experience. It's a wonderful microgame in all respects, so big congratulations to Cecile and to the rest of the microgame finalists.
Hey, this is really exciting. Microgame Award. Under a Star Called Sun is the game that I'm maybe proudest of, and it does mean a lot, so much to me that it would win just about anything at all. And I'm really glad that people who played it do like it and are maybe even inspired by it. The Microgame Award was the first games-related award that I've ever received in my entire life, and it's very cool and poetic to be back here on the metaphorical stage to receive it once again. I have a pretty long list of people to thank. I do first want to thank Chad and the Freeplay team for their hard work and just giving us small games makers just a space to talk about and celebrate our work and each other. I want to thank Liminal for commissioning me to make the game and trusting me with it as it took shape. I want to thank Mia for helping me through writing the game. I want to thank Ruslan. I really miss you and I love you. And big shout out to the folks in the zone who are hopefully watching right now. You guys are truly the best and funniest people ever. And of course I want to thank my beloved Andy. That's it. Enjoy your evening.
Oh, me again. All right. This is the Freeplay Across the Ditch Award, which celebrates the best games coming out of Aotearoa and New Zealand. And let me tell you, this might surprise you, but this category was really hard to judge. I mean, we were given sort of the best games out of the country, and it was like comparing apples to oranges or kiwi fruit to pavlova. I mean, they're all different. They're all delicious. We had a visual novel, we had a strategy game, we had a physics-based puzzler, we had cute dogs, and we had witches with guns. I mean, what a category. So without further ado, here are the Across the Ditch finalists.
Explore Rainbow Bay. Name the world's most dog-friendly town. Meet two-legged friends. And their four-legged friends. That's 6 legs. What a bargain.
Cannot be without you.
Quiet! Here comes!
Ah, there you are. Greetings, brother. Welcome to my humble kingdom.
Humble is about right.
Sarah?
Hera, I know you two are plotting against me.
And the winner of the 2021 Freeplay Across the Ditch Award goes to... It's Before We Leave by Balancing Monkey Games. We really loved Before We Leave because of its really pleasing twist on the 4X strategy genre. It's one that strips out the combat, puts the focus on the people that make up a society, the environment they inhabit, and the impact they leave on that environment as time goes on. really makes you think. It's ambitious, it's really soothing to play, it's a really wonderful piece of work all around. So big congratulations to Before We Leave and the rest of the finalists that came in from across the ditch.
Kia ora koutou. I'm Anna Barham. I'm the Managing Director of Balancing Monkey Games. This is Sam Barham, our Creative Director, and the main man who started it all off. This is Isaac, our technical artist and second programmer, and this is Emily, our Community Manager, who is the beating heart of Balancing Monkey Games.
Oh, God.
I'm going to say that. Every time.
Oh my God.
We just want to say a huge thank you to everyone across the ditch for this Freeplay Award. It's just such a huge honour, and we're totally blown away by the amount of attention that our first game has received. It's been incredible. So we have to say massive thank you to the whole New Zealand game dev community. They've been really supportive, especially Dry Cactus Games, Tim Ponting, who's a wonderful guy, Kiwi Game Starter, and Code and Dunedin, who've just helped us every step along the way. We also need to say a big thank you to our whānau who are here with us, who have been along with us on this wild ride. Yep. And also a huge congratulations to everyone else who was nominated. You are all legends.
Thank
Bye.
you. Bye.
Thank you again, Edmund. God, he's good quality, isn't he? You see that typewriter bit? That's hilarious. Anyway, we're gonna move along because the sun's setting on my backyard here. Here to present the Experimental Game Award, it's Caitlin Cronin. Take it away.
Hi, I'm Caitlin Cronin, and I'm one of the judges for this year's Freeplay Awards. I'm very honoured to be presenting this year's Experimental Game Award. The experimental category makes space for those games that stretch our understanding of what a game can be, do, and say. Like all the categories, we had some absolutely wonderful entries for experimental this year. There was brilliant use of real-world space, clever integration of alternative controls, deeply personal essays, and some truly wonderful tongue-in-cheek self-aware pieces. Our finalists for this category all embody the idea of experimental in their own way, and each showcased something unique, exciting, or weird about the medium. An amazing list, and congratulations to not only all of the nominees, but to everyone who submitted. The winner of this year's Experimental Game Award is Neon Cyborg Cat Club by Edwin Montgomery. Neon Cyborg Cat Club stole many of the judges' hearts, and not just because it has cool cyborg cats in it, but because of its subtle and tonally evocative world building and its brilliantly crafted and executed procedural synth soundtrack. A kind of interactive experience meets art piece. Neon Cyborg Cat Club invokes a feeling of both melancholy and strange wistfulness that left many of us judges staring out into the void. Congratulations, Neon Cyborg Cat Club, Edwin, and also to all of the creators.
My name's Edwin, and I'm joining you tonight under the skies of the Kulin Nation. I'd like to pay my respects to all First Peoples and extend a special greeting to any First Peoples watching tonight. So if you're watching this, it means that Neon Cyborg Cat Club has just won the Freeplay Experimental Game Award this year. This is a pretty huge deal for me. It's the first time a project of my own has ever been nominated for an award. So to win one is just such a huge thrill. And I want to say thanks so much to Freeplay for existing. I love everything you do and what you stand for and what you do for the independent games community. I want to thank City of Melbourne Council, who last year supported this project during what was really a pretty grim time of COVID lockdowns, and their support was just hugely beneficial. All the media workers who helped me get the word out about the game when I released it, thank you so much. I want to thank my longtime collaborator Daz Chandler, who was so supportive of this project through the entire process. My amazing family and friends who are always really encouraging of everything I do. And of course, anyone who played the game, thank you for playing it and for supporting independent games. I'd like to thank the tractor who's been tirelessly digging up the dirt for days next door. And I'd like to give a final big thank you to all the cats of the world, robotic and organic, who are keeping humans sane and happy through the best and the very worst of times. Thank you so much again, and take care of yourselves.
Hey Freeplay, it's Jay, back again to present the Freeplay Student Game Award. Now, I didn't study games at university, but I have spent a fair amount of time on the outskirts of the games industry, so I feel like I have an inkling of what it's like trying to navigate what can be quite a scary space, full of unwritten rules you have yet to internalize, while you're just trying to find a place within it where you feel like you belong, and a bit of a community to share your journey with. It's always exciting experiencing the work of up-and-coming creators. This year was especially notable as the standard of games entered in the student category was incredibly strong, so much so that you'll recognize several of these games from the other categories. These creators may be early in their careers, but their work is among the most exciting work being produced right now. Among the student finalists this year are a heartfelt short story, a crafty puzzle game, a surreal exploration game, a personal reflection on mental health, and an atmospheric platformer. The winner for the Freeplay Student Game Award for 2021 is The Snow Gardens by Anthony Cristiano. The Snow Gardens really grabbed our attention from early on. This is an incredibly polished, atmospheric, visually stunning, yet quietly reflective platformer with an undercurrent of mystery to it. It also just so happens to be made in Media Molecule's Dreams. Freeplay has always championed expanding the set of people who make games, along with tools that make game development more accessible, from interactive fiction and Twine to short-form games in Bitsy, and it's incredibly exciting seeing creators produce incredible work with yet another new tool. In his submission, Anthony told us that while he is studying, he's not studying a games degree. This is just one more reason to celebrate the Snow Gardens. We've been saying for a long time that you don't have to be a programmer to make games, but you also don't have to even study games to make games. You just have to create work with love and care. Congratulations, Anthony.
I'm Anthony, the developer for the Snow Gardens, and I just want to say a really big thank you. I'm really grateful to be receiving this Student Game Award, and just humbled to have my game listed up next to all those other really inspiring games that deserve this as much as me, if not more than me. Like most of you, I'm guessing, I've been playing games since I was a kid, and I've always wanted to make my own game. So to get this recognition really does mean a lot, and I'm really grateful for it. I'd like to extend a huge thank you to Daniel Kidney from Media Molecule for all his encouragement and his effort, and also just Media Molecule in general for all that they're doing and all their community support. Also, the Snow Gardens definitely wasn't something I could do completely on my own, so huge thank you to Tap Giles for his help with all the logic and the programming, and also to Diantha Crystal for her help with the character design. Just really, really grateful. Thank you so much. It means a lot, and I'm looking forward to the rest of the event.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and friends beyond the binary, it's time for the segment of the 2021 Freeplay Awards show, which is dedicated to all of the games which are being awarded with honourable mentions. These games are works of exceptional merit, games which blew our socks off, and games which are fantastic. In no particular order, this year's honourable mentions go to the following games: Monolith by Ella Lim, Guild Master by Chris Anthony, Pareidolia, or Why I Saw Pac-Man Everywhere in 2020 by Rowan Crawford, Bodily Visions by Tim Snowden, Real-Time Cancellation Adventure by Vijay Rajan, Hannah, A Friend in Need by Lotus Media Studios, Hi Name, I'm Dad by Logan Timmons, The Swamp You Die In by Ive Sorachuk, 17 Reasons by Steve D, Video World by Jacob Leaney, 18 Holes by Seabrook Studios, Pebble Witch by Fuzzy Ghost, We Splorts by Zach Lucarelli, Hope by Scott Cabot. Please put your hands together and give your warmest congratulations to all of these teams and indie individuals for their brilliant work. And now it's time for the big one. It's over to you, Jason Imms, with the Freeplay Award.
Hello again, friends. It's my absolute honour and privilege to share with you the winner of our highest honour, the Freeplay Award for 2021. This award celebrates our best game of the year, the game that most spoke to the judges and generated heaps of excited conversation during deliberations. This year's winner was fun in a way that made us deeply uncomfortable. It asked us to consider the world around us and reframe it in different ways and look at it from different perspectives. The judges were impressed with how it used level design and art direction to almost ask the player to move backwards through the world, constantly looking at where we've been, and then to ask ourselves where that means we might be going. It is my great pleasure to announce that the winner of the Freeplay Award for 2021 is Umurangi Generation by Origame Digital.
Please direct your attention to the...
Come on!
Hello, I'm back again. Jason Imms here, Chair of the Freeplay Awards, and I'm joined very excitingly by our Freeplay Award winner, Tarlai Faulkner. Thanks so much for joining us.
Kia ora, everyone. Wow, I'm like blown away by the win. I think it's one of these really funny things where earlier in the year I went to Wellington and actually met some of the Freeplay people there as well, and it's this weird thing where I it's like I'm doubling up with I get a bit of Aotearoa ones and I get a bit of Australia ones, and honestly it's been this journey where I'm pretty blown away, just around all this stuff, because especially as we all kind of know, Australia's games industry is quite small compared to other places, and I think there's going to be a lot of really good stuff happening in the next few years. With the government seems to be doing some kind of support, but also, hopefully we'll see a lot of more creators come out of this space and sort of try and do things a little bit differently. I'm pretty blown away, to be honest, because it's one of the things where with this game, I think it's very different from a lot of other games that came out last year or a lot of indie games, and it was I guess a really for me it was a really warm moment to know that there is room for that in the industry, and especially someone who's a bit of a newbie when it comes to the space. I was sort of a little bit aware, I've got a couple of mates who are game developers, mainly down in Melbourne, but I was pretty blown away, I think, by the response to the game. And I would say to anyone who is watching this and is a game developer and they're kind of seeing where I am at the moment, I'm probably where you were or where you are if you're not sort of out there yet. I'm probably where you are right. That's where I was towards the end of 2019. And the thing I kind of think about is I think that this game space is starting to open up into a more featured art form, and the thing I kind of think about that is it's time to start getting risky with our design ideas, and we don't necessarily have to always think about it in terms of what everyone else is doing. I made a game that's about kind of the Aussie bushfires, but also very political concept of neoliberalism, and the way that's been responded to by the players and people who review games, and that is extremely positive. And I think it's this thing where a lot of people are hungering for something like that now. And so I think especially in this indie space where we don't have a lot of the time we don't have the sort of overbearing publisher who can tell you to dial things back, or the sort of freedom to make this stuff. Where the rules aren't quite set in concrete yet. I'm thinking, in this space we can start to push this medium forward. And the thing I kind of think about is, wouldn't it be awesome if games, down here in the Southern Hemisphere were the ones to really open the industry up and lead the way in terms of how, different you can make games. So my other little bit of advice, if you're a creator, and this was like something I did with Umurangi, and I'll pay it forward to anyone watching this, is for your first game, it's probably best you try and make a game where the story isn't told with words, because when you're doing a story like that, it can really start to pile up on your load, because now you're not only making a game and doing all the animation and doing all the music, you're now also writing a short story. And if you can avoid doing that and do it more indirectly, like with Umurangi, where it was with world building, I think people will respond positively to that. And it doesn't make you any less of a game developer. It's the kind of thing where don't cook yourself on the fire with this stuff. It's really not a nice thing to see when people burn out, which is what I've seen just in the small time I've been here. And I think it's this kind of thing where don't be too hard on yourself with the game, and follow all these steps and you'll become like me. No, basically, I think that in this game space, if we can all support each other and help grow it, I think it'll turn into something really nice at the end of the day. So, I'm pretty rapt about the award.
Awesome. I wholeheartedly agree with you. And I'm curious, what does it mean to you to have made a game that you clearly, it's about a topic that you clearly feel so strongly about, and you clearly poured heaps of that passion into the title itself. What does it mean to you that it's found a bunch of success, and not just awards, but also market success as well?
Well, I had a yarn with Dakota Baker. He's an Aboriginal fella in the games industry recently, and I think he said it best. He said, if you're going to learn how to make games, you have to do something that's not related to making games, because if all you're doing when you're learning to make games is learning how to make games, then your games are just going to be about learning to make games. Have a secondary thing that you are passionate about, and then you can put that in. For me, the thing I'm really passionate about, or that gets me a timeout on the Discord because I won't shut up about it, is a lot of this political science stuff. And part of that's my background coming from a university, but also just all the live stuff that when you start to look back on your own family history, or you start to look at sort of how the state has talked about your family over the last 100, 200 years. It's kind of a thing where you can't really start to separate yourself from it. Now, I'm obviously not advocating that anyone goes through the process of colonization in their family and inherits all the fucked shit from that. But what I'm saying is, if you have a passion outside of gaming, it's okay to bring that in, and it's okay to be passionate about things. I think, one of the really bad things in sort of creative spaces is this idea that, passion is cringe, or it's this kind of thing where it's embarrassing to be around. I think if you can be passionate about something and explain that passion in your game, that's going to be, a really awesome thing. You're going to be making a game that's not only something we've probably never played before, but it's going to be this kind of thing where, what I think about is you're going to have, a skill set, or what you might call like an expertise around this thing that you can draw on. For me, it was photography, because I'd done that for 8 years. I've been there. I have my own funny stories about, photography with bands asking you to do their photo shoot and then, canceling their entire band and all splitting up and never talking to each other 2 weeks later, sorry. And I think there's this thing where, if you're passionate about something, maybe it's best to start with making a game about that, or, return to that passion, because I think at the end of the day, if you're not enjoying making games, what's the point? Like you can't, you can't cook yourself for something that needs that passion to begin with. So I would say if you're thinking about making games, do like what Dakota said, do something or learn something alongside that is completely unrelated, so that you have something to sort of draw on and be passionate about. It could be a sport or a hobby or something like that. But I think for me, this game's full of political, what you might call political content. I mean, I was thinking about putting that as like part of the ESRB, contains political content. Don't show it to man children under the age of 27. But it's this whole thing of for me, I was able to very easily go and navigate through that space and connect it all up and stuff. And I think people had a really fun time untangling that and seeing, where did the jokes lie and what's the context around, what's going on, or seeing something that they recognize and then seeing someone just take the piss out of it, right? And I think it's the kind of thing where, this is a medium unlike any other, where you can create in a way that makes people, I guess, think certain ways, but also you can get them to do just about anything. So that's what I would think about that. Yeah.
Awesome. And where does the future take you from here, Tyler?
Well, I've got 2 projects that I've sort of got design documents for. But when I say that, I'm not like trying to, grow too quick or anything. Basically, my plan at the moment is the next game is kind of going to be building the technology for the next one. And when I say that, I mean like the framework, not necessarily like to say that the third one will be a clone, but more it's about testing an idea in safer waters, if that makes sense. Like with the idea I kind of have is that this next one, I'm not saying it's a throwaway project, but it's the kind of thing where I think you can be more experimental with the idea because there's less risk involved. And to say that, I mean, I can give the basic elevator pitch here. It's a roguelike horror experience where it's less about the jump scare or that kind of horror, but more the idea of being in a room with 7 people who all have different ideological positions on something, and then introducing a monster where they have to work together. Which the idea I have around that is basically. Horror as a genre has always been somewhat political, I guess. So having this game where it's kind of about, weaving together these different kind of, what would this person and this person do and how would they clash on that, I think is going to be a pretty fun thing to sort of go with. I think one of the things which has been really positive about, Omorangi's success is the idea that, that this next project, I can bring more people in to work on that. And, it's the kind of thing where, you can give someone you can give someone their break or their first shot in the industry, because with a project like that, it's the kind of thing where if the idea of it is being experimental, then people can experiment and show off who they are in that space and hopefully grow from there. Now obviously, I think the big thing around that is you've got to also be a director at the end of the day, which is the person who plays the choir or weaves it all together and makes sure it's cohesive. And that's something I think I can do just from, my experience of what I've done. But, I'm really excited about that because it's the kind of thing where, the people I sort of have in mind around that, I've seen what they've done before. And it's the kind of thing where, you can always see, or you can see behind when you have conversations with certain people that they're really excited to work in the space, but they're not able to start yet because of maybe it's a financial barrier or a barrier of entry that's just the kind of thing. And being able to pull people up with you into the space, I think is really important because in this space of game development or the games industry, I think it's really important to grow the space with people that are like-minded to you, and also that you can sort of get them in there with you to sort of help grow it in the right direction. Because I think one thing that we often, I guess, think about, or maybe not think about, but it's sort of like games as a medium is such a new one in terms of the the total work of art becoming this thing that you can talk about. And I think it's the kind of thing where what I think about is that if you're getting more people in this space who can take that medium and bring it up to a certain level, it's much harder to pull that back down because now everything has to reach it. You know, an example of that might be that, you know, I think 10 years ago, it was sort of unthinkable that, you know, a game would have like a, you know, positive representation of LGBT people, just in like the AAA space. And I think that as the industry got pulled up by mostly indies and, you know, people taking a shot with that, it's much harder to go back down now to where, you know, something I was thinking about with a friend the other day was sort of this idea that, you know, if you ever go back and play GTA 4's Ballad of Gay Tony, it's kind of impossible to consume the script of that game because it's so abrasive and, well, like the thing I would say is it's so accurate for the time there where, you know, certain slurs were being said every sentence. And I think it's much harder to go back to that kind of space in games now because it's grown to a position now where it's hard to pull that back down. And so I think like, you know, with games like, you know, as I said earlier, with indie games, there's no publisher going to stop you from pushing as hard as you like. And I think whilst you might think that there's a risk that, like, you know, a internet heckler will call your game cringe or, you know, SJW, whatever, right? Basically, if you go to a level that's too high for them, they won't be able to reach, right? And I think if you go to a level that is, you know, even if you just go to a level that's where it is now, the reality is, and I can say this from someone who used to do YouTube, is that's not good for their algorithm score or whatever to keep talking about the same thing over and over again. People get bored. So don't be afraid of things like that. Don't be afraid of pushback if you're going to get it. But, you know, I would just say that this industry and this space, I think, has, you know, a place to grow to, and it's not quite there yet. But I think my thinking in the future is to grow it with sort of a little bit more of a foundation based in, you know, things like talking about, like, you know, indigenous knowledge and, you know, this idea of making games that are pulling it forward a little bit, and this kind of thing where it's about being current with it. It's about, you know, kicking for the throat in a way where you go and you go where you need to go, and you don't half-ass it. You don't second guess your decision. You take a risk with it. And I think that's my thinking going forward. And if it is a giant failure in a few years and everyone sees me on my ass in the street, you know, obviously you can know I did something wrong there, and you can look at that. But I think that's what I'm thinking at the moment. And I think you know, I think one of the best, I guess, bits of advice that was sort of ever given to me was by one of the uncles there, and he said, you know, when things stop growing, they die. And so I'm thinking that with this indie space, you got to keep growing or it dies. And that goes individually as well, as, you know, if you don't stop growing as a person and pulling that space or yourself to new areas, you know, you die creatively. So that's my thoughts on that.
That's a beautiful way to finish up the conversation. If I might summarize, I think what I'm hearing you say is we should be encouraging people to boldly create games that need to be made, that say what needs to be said. And we should do so in a way that brings other people up along the journey with us, if it be that people who join you on the project and get the chance to get some experience and get involved, but also the audience too, right? And bring them into the conversation and force them to have the conversation.
One thing that I think about with the conversations that often need to be had is that sometimes the conversation was started wrong to begin with. You know, I can think of what we're going to do for the third game is about reintroducing a certain concept, which I think, unfortunately, in Australian, you know, and schools in New Zealand and in you know, America, is there's this thing where it's not taught properly. The concept is not taught properly, and therefore the people who grow up through that system have really negative views on it. And so, you know, my thinking around that is, and, you know, you can see this with Umurangi, was the idea is it's about taking it slow and helping people to understand a concept. So with Umurangi, it was photography, but there's no reason we can't start doing that with more, you know, I guess what's the word, thematic concepts, or concepts that are maybe a little bit controversial, or something like that. And I think usually it just comes down to education. I can't think of a single person who didn't have a change of thinking. They didn't just wake up one day and go, today I believe the exact opposite of what I currently believe. No, it was a process of, they got introduced to the concept again from a new beginning, and then they worked through it, and they were able to see what was going on, and they went, okay, I don't believe what I used to believe. I believe something new now. So that's why I'm on a blacklist number 740. Yeah.
Very good. Well, I'm really, really thankful that you've taken the time to have a chat with us today. And once again, thank you. Congratulations, Talway, on taking home the Freeplay Award. We're really, really pleased to have you as part of our alumni.
Thanks so much, everyone. Thank you.
Awesome.
Hello, everyone. If all's gone well in cyberspace, I'm successfully joining you now from the living room, because it gets colder and colder as the days go by at this end of the state. It also means that we've reached the end of the awards ceremony, and my duties are mostly over. In a minute, I'm going to hand over to the festival director, Chad Toprak. First met Chad when I had first moved to the city of Melbourne, and he was hosting a night where we got together to play some Johann Sebastian Joust. If you don't know it, it's a live game where you try to knock the controller out of each other's hands, basically. And I thought, meeting everyone there for the first time, that we'd be taking it easy on each other, and I got absolutely flattened in the street on the cobblestones. I was okay. No one got sued. I bring the anecdote up because I think it really speaks to how seriously the community I've moved into here takes games, and how much fun you can have doing it. And I think what we've just seen, all the games submitted, really, really speak to that. So hopefully I can give you the voice of Chad. One moment. I cannot. One sec, everyone. This is live TV. Sometimes these things happen. He's gone. It's all my fault. Don't worry. Do not adjust your set. Add a Chad. They're flaming me in the zone right now. I can feel it. How about I kill my camera? One sec. Add. Oh my god. You mess with the ball, you get the full display capture. Are you there, Chad? Say hi. Say hi for us, Chad. Take it away.
audio. Oh, this is... How do I fix this? Can you just give me a second before you thank our partners, Chad? That's good. Before we hear them, I'm just going to ensure that we've got audio from Zoom, which is a temperamental program. Just give us 5 seconds. Okay. Window capture from Zoom. From Zoom meeting, desktop audio, properties, device, headphones. Can you say something real quick for us?
Hello. Testing 1 2 3.
How's that, the zone?
Can everyone hear me? Am I visible?
I think we've got you now. I'll just make you visible once again. Go ahead. Sorry about that.
All right. Sorry about that, everyone. I'll take it from the start.
Please.
Yeah. Thank you so much for tuning in to the 2021 Freeplay Digital Awards Ceremony. For our friends in the zone, thank you for zoning in. I'm Chad Toprak, the director of Freeplay. It's been an absolute pleasure and delight watching the awards ceremony tonight. A huge congratulations to all the awards winners, all the honorable mentions, and the finalists as well. As director, I'm super hands-off with almost every aspect of the awards, from producing to judging, mostly for impartiality reasons. So I want to start off by acknowledging the hard work that Jonothan Rubock and Jeannie Maxwell have poured into the awards, and thank them for spearheading its production this year. So thank you so much, Jeannie and Jono. Congratulations. I love you both. As the awards ceremony and the extended free play come to an end, there's a few more people and partners that I'd like to thank. First and foremost, I'd like to thank our major partners, Australia Council for the Arts and Creative Victoria, for their support. Freeplay has been assisted this year by the Australian government through the Australia Council for the Arts, its funding and advisory body. Freeplay is also supported by the Victorian government through Creative Victoria. I'd like to also thank RMIT and the lovely folks at the Capitol for their support. Moving on to our amazing champions of Freeplay, I'd like to thank our local sponsors for their generous support: House, 2 Point Interactive, Worm Club, and League of Geeks. Your contributions this year made Freeplay and the awards ceremony possible, so thank you. I want to thank our 2021 festival team, who have been working tirelessly for months and have managed to pull off what I think is by far the toughest Freeplay in history. I'm extremely honored and privileged to work with them. So a heartfelt thank you to Jeannie, our festival producer, Jonathan, our awards MC, Ben, our festival coordinator, Pritika, our social media coordinator, Goldie, our visual art lead, Terry, our sponsorships manager, and possibly the hugest VIP of this year. Jason, the chair of the Freeplay Awards, and also Tiara, our volunteer manager, and Andy, our night market producer. Thank you to all our judges who worked bloody damn hard discussing and deliberating over the last month and a bit, figuring out the finalists and winners. So thank you to Caitlin, Samantha, Jay, Demi, Anthony, Ben, Edmund, Andy, Allison, and Nock. I want to thank Jay and Cecile for their amazing work with the Freeplay Zone. It's been fantastic to just revisit the space and see the tiny new features that have been implemented with each visit, whether it's the dancing or the handstands or the most recent chat feature. Thank you so much. A huge shout out to Rory Sampson for this year's lovely visual identity. It was just an absolute pleasure watching the animations and the croaking during the awards ceremony. And a huge shout out to Goldie as well for handling all of that. I'd like to thank the Freeplay board for all their support this year and for coming to the rescue on multiple occasions. So thank you, Claire, Travis, Alice, James, Helen, Dan, Jason, Georgia, and Doug. I want to thank my cat, Aslan, and my partner, Helen, for supporting me in the lead up to and during this year's festival. And finally, I want to thank all of you, the Freeplay community. Without you, Freeplay wouldn't exist. So please continue making personal games, political games, physical games, installation games, experimental games, non-commercial games. Please continue making games that mean something to you, that express who you are and what you value. Please continue to be vocal with your support for these types of games and for Freeplay, because we really need your support. And thank you for making Freeplay so special. I want to wrap up by mentioning that we have an audience feedback survey that will be circulating. Please make sure you fill that out. It really makes a difference. We'll be sharing the link in the YouTube and Zone chats, as well as our social media channels. So if you kind of miss it on YouTube and the Zone, just check it out on the socials. Keep an eye out for our upcoming events: Street Tech Games, Sinister Creatives, Soundbite, Hover Gardens Night Market Party, and a few more surprise events. I'll hand it back to Jonathan, as I believe there's one last thing that we need to announce. Over to you, Jono.
It started off as a really simple, cute idea to pay tribute to my favorite childhood toys.
When I started Way to the Woods, and I was in high school, like in year 11, 12, and at that time in my life, the unknown was everything.
So I just want to make a game that my mum can play. She's one of my biggest supporters, but because games are such an isolating and gated off medium, she actually can't engage with a lot of my work, even though she'd love to.
As you can probably see already, it looks like it's a comedy game, but it's actually not. So we've maybe we stuffed that up.
They wanted to make more things that were meaningful. They wanted to make games about love and identity and life. And I was like, nah, I just wanna, drive around, maybe toot a horn.
Hi, I'm Matt. I made Paint Game.
I'm Marigold.
My name's Anthony Tan.
My name is Olivia.
This is our game, Push Me, Pull You.
We're making Web.
A little game that we've been working on for a while called Heavenly Bodies.
And tonight I was just sort of hoping to talk about my game for a bit.
Splash is a racing and shooting game made out of a car.
Welcome to Parallels, Freeplay's first ever showcase.
Welcome again to Parallels 2017.
It's the Freeplay 2019 showcase.
And welcome to Parallels 2020.
And most importantly, you can honk.